Okay, students, let's start with the vocabulary. So please pay attention.
Lesson C. I think I'll get a job. Page 120. Exercise 1. Vocabulary. Milestones.
Milestones, as I mentioned before, it's an important event of your life. Okay, so let's listen. We are going to classify the milestones in 3. Okay, the first one is personal milestone. The second one is educational milestone. And the third one, work-related milestone.
Personal milestones.
Buy a house.
Get married.
Rent an apartment.
Educational milestones.
Go to college.
Graduate from high school.
Start school.
Work-related milestones.
Get promoted.
Retire.
Start a career.
Good. Now, please, you're going to order. So we're going to write the numbers in order that those events happen in your life. Okay? So let's start, please. Thank you for your participation. Now we have the order of those important events in your life, right? Number 1, start school. Number 2, graduate from high school. Number 3, go to college. Number 4, start career. Number 5, get promoted. Number 6, rent an apartment. Number 7, get married. Number 8, buy a house. And number 9, retire. So now we're going to listen a conversation in order to make a real situation those vocabularies, okay? Pay attention, please.
Page 120. Exercise 2. Conversation. I'll go traveling. Part A.
Hey, Craig. How are you doing?
Oh, hi, Tim. I'm fine. What's new with you?
Well, I'm graduating from college this summer.
That's wonderful. What do you think you'll do in September?
I think I'll go traveling with some friends.
That sounds fun, but it won't be cheap.
Yeah, so I may get a job this summer to pay for the trip.
Now we are going to talk about will, may, and might. Do you know when is necessary to use it? What is the meaning of them? No, not yet? Okay, no problem. Let's see. Let's start with will. Something that all of us know is that will, it's a word that we use to talk about in future, right? But something that we need to remember also is that we can use will to talk about what we think will happen in the future. In other words, we can say that we use will to talk about predictions, okay? Like, for example, I think it'll rain tonight. I'm sure he'll be a successful lawyer one day. Those sentences are predictions, okay? Using will. What about the use of may or might? Well, we can use may or might. Both can be used in a request and in expressions of possibilities for present and future. So it means that when you use them, those modal verbs, we are talking about possibilities, something that maybe will happen in the future or in the present. For example, the weather may be better tomorrow. The weather might be better tomorrow. Craig may know his results soon. Craig might know his results soon. We may go to the cinema tonight. We might go to the cinema tonight. It means that it's probable, right? Because it's a possibility. So now please, let's remember the structure of will. We have will in affirmative, as you can notice here. We have the use of the subject, the word will, the verb in the simple form, and the complement. You will win the lottery. Okay, this is considered a prediction, right? Negative form, the subject, will plus not, or also we can use want. Verb in the simple form and the complement. You will not discover a cure immediately, or you won't discover a cure immediately. Now, the interrogative form. Of course, the positions change, right? Will at the beginning plus the subject plus the verb, the simple form, plus the complement, and at the end, the question mark. Will you see your children's wedding? Remember that this is a question just with will. But what happens if you have a question word? Look, interrogative WH. It means that your questions is also in future with will, but it's necessary a question word because you want a specific information. Like, for example, here we have where. Where will you live in 10 years? You're talking about a place, right? This is a question word. So you need to start with the question word, then the word will, then the subject, then the verb in the simple form, then the complement, and finally the question mark. So this is the structure of will. What about the modal verbs? Let's start with might. So modal verb might in affirmative, we have might to express probability in the future, right? Like, for example, it might rain later. We also have might, the verb, the modal verb might in negative form, okay, to express an probability in the future, okay? But happen or mention that something is not going to happen because this is a negative. She might not go out. In the case of interrogative, okay, the modal verb might express permission. Like, for example, may I speak to you for a moment? What about may? The affirmative way is to express probability in the future like the previous one. Like, for example, he may go to the party. In negative form, you use may not to express probability in the future, but this is a negative connotation, of course. I may not remember the date. This is an example. And the case of interrogative form, we use may to ask about permission. May you take this to Mr. Smith? So now please, let's remember that today we are talking about will, may, and might to mention about two important situations. One of them is prediction. When you use will be in affirmative, negative, or interrogative. And the other is to talk about possibility. But in this group, to mention possibilities, you have two options, two modal verbs, may and might. Now, please, let's see more exercise.